I do sense in a way though, Leos, that, and please don't take this personally, because I feel like this person really likes you, but they want to slow things down a little bit. They want to do things in moderation. And then I also feel this might have been somebody that, they have been hurt in the past, and they might have, been totally swept off their feet, been involved in a whirlwind romance, and got their heart burned, okay? Like they might have gotten burned in the past when things move so quickly. And so if this situation with you is reminiscent of like something that happened to them in the past, it would explain why they want to pump on the brakes. So it has nothing to do with you. It's just things are moving a little bit too fast or faster than they're liking. And as a result of it, they might have told you to slow down. They might have retreated. They might have done their disappearing act. And you're left wondering, like, what exactly happened? I was honest. I was truthful. I was like open and honest with my feelings. I gave them my feelings on a silver platter, and I laid it all out there, and I revealed my cards to them. But like, why did they, retreat? Why did they back off? Why aren't things moving? And so you can't help but take this a little bit personally, I feel. You might feel a little bit hurt that they're not as emotionally expressive. You might not feel like they want to move things forward with you. You might not feel like you're their one and only. You might feel like they might have other options, or you might feel like you scare them off, or you might feel like they're detaching because they don't like me, when in fact, they do like you. With this Lovers card and this Queen of Pentacles, it's like, it's somebody that is a really good relationship partner, and they want to build a solid foundation, okay? They don't want a one-night stand. They don't want a fling. They don't want like just a, just like a fly-by-night type of a, whirlwind romance. They want something that is stable and that will, be, reliable into the future, that can be built upon. And so when things move too fast, it scares them. So I feel like someone here is getting really, really afraid because of the way in which they feel about you. And I feel like when they're afraid, they retreat. And then when they retreat, you thought you did something wrong. You thought that they're gone. You thought that they led you on, or you thought that they might have had somebody else. Okay, so while you're sitting there trying to mull over these decisions and trying to figure out, like, where are they? What did I do? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Did I come on too strong? Are they dealing with other people? You have a lot of questions here, and you're trying to figure out these questions, and you're also trying your best not to, let these negative thoughts get to you. And I feel like you have a lot of questions, unanswered questions that you want to ask this other person. And so the first 2 weeks of the month of March, there are like potentials for like miscommunication, for thinking about, things through the worst case scenario lens. And it's also about like communication going awry, where you say one thing and the other person thinks you of another. But I also feel like you're dealing with someone who's telling you something and you're reading a lot more into it than what they intended. Okay, so I feel like the feelings are definitely here. And so don't get yourself stuck in this, thinking negative thoughts and cycling through like worst case scenarios. Okay, the latter part of the month, they are going to be making a comeback in your life. Okay, I keep thinking that some of you might be dealing with an Aquarius. Okay, so like an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and Aquarius comes out really strongly. We have the Star card, which is indicative of Aquarius. And then I also feel like earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And what I'm seeing with this is, so let's take a look at this person, okay? Whoever you're dealing with, the way that they are, this is somebody who's very self-made, okay? They're very self-reliant. And this is a card about healing. And so I usually think of this as somebody who has been through the ringer when it comes to past love relationship. They've had their fair share of disappointments. For some of you, this person might have like newly gotten out of a really significant relationship in which they were very hurt. And so they're loving with eyes wide open, okay? They don't fall for infatuation, or they don't trust, passion and chemistry. They don't feel like that's going to be enough. And they're very wary about rushing into a relationship, or even being in a relationship where you know, it's all about passion and chemistry, and they don't trust it. And so what they are experiencing with you is that they really do want you. I feel like they're really physically attracted to you, and they don't trust it. They think that's all there is to it. And so they're trying to buy their time. They're trying to get to know you better. And they're trying to let the steam kind of like, you know, leave the relationship a little bit so that they can look at you objectively, because they feel like they don't want to be clouded by, you know, lust and infatuation. They want to be real about expectations. And so I feel like you're dealing with someone who is also incredibly independent. They like their space, they like their routine, they like their ways. And it might be a little bit difficult to be in a relationship with this person, mainly because, you know, they're so used to being on their own. They're so used to having things a certain way. And it's hard for them to kind of like work together in a relationship, or with another person in a relationship. It's hard for them to like make compromises, or even match your passion. Okay, so air signs, and especially the Aquarius person, and even earth signs, they're very methodical. They think with their heads, and I feel like they don't let their emotions uh, they don't get swept away with their emotions. So even though they feel these amazing feelings for you, and there's a lot of passion here, even though they feel it, the way in which they show the emotion, it's a little bit more detached. It's a little bit more practical. It's a little bit more grounded. And so if you're looking for that burst of passion, I feel like, you know, this person might not be able to show that until they feel incredibly safe and stable in the relationship with you. So it's going to take a little bit more time to get this relationship, or to get this person on board. And it's going to take a little bit more time for the two of you to kind of like calibrate, and to be able to find that middle ground as to what works for you. But trust me, I feel like the feelings are definitely there from their end, and they just have trouble grappling with it, and they don't want the emotions to kind of take over. Okay. There's a longing here, very, very deep longing. I have here Nine of Cups and the Star. Okay. The Nine of Cups is a situation where we feel very emotionally satiated. We feel like complete. When you look at this card, okay, there's a bear, and he's got his pot of honey. He's potentially overindulging on honey. Okay. So it's like, it's something that is very sweet, but when you eat too much of it, it gives you a tummy ache. Like it can be so sweet that it's sickening. Okay. And this is a really positive card, but the way it's depicted in this spread, I just feel like you really want this person. There's like, I feel like somebody is salivating. I feel like somebody is like, I really want that. You're seeing somebody that you really want, and you want to just, you know, beelining it for that person. And I feel like the person is kind of like hesitant about letting you in. Okay. So I'm sensing that the other person, I'm sensing really strong Aquarius vibe, and Aquarius are super detached. And with Aquarius, you might want to play it cool a little bit to capture their attention. Giving them a little bit, way too much information and putting them on the spot, it might actually, it might have the opposite effect. So I feel like you want to play it cool. You want to approach them and you know, just in a more neutral manner. But I feel like they're looking at you, and they know that you're very attracted to them, and they feel the same way. But I do sense that, you know, there is a part of them that's really holding back, because they want a foundation of friendship first. They don't want it to be all about lust and infatuation, because they know that's not enough to sustain a relationship. So the advice for you here is with the Temperance card, and the Temperance card is about moderation. Okay. Don't overindulge in something so sweet that it gives you a tummy ache. Don't overindulge in a situation so much that it consumes you. And especially, you know, letting things flow naturally. Don't force it. Don't push it. Give the other person space, and doing things in moderation in general, so that things can be lasting, so that things take a natural course. And usually when things take a natural course, or when things take time to develop, all the kinks naturally would have been worked out. And so it's actually in your favor to kind of slow this down, and emotionally moderate, and to let things naturally unfold. Okay, I feel like you want somebody really, really badly, and you feel really passionate about them. And then I also feel like you want to make sure that you give them the space that they need, that you don't bombard them with too much emotions, because I'm sensing with this, either the Aquarius or the Earth sign, they want things to take its natural course. They want to slow things down, and they're methodical, and they're practical, and they just want what's tried and true, and they don't want to be swept up in their feelings. Okay. There is going to be like a reckoning, or like a coming together in a very harmonious way at the end of this month. And I feel like one of the catalysts that will allow you to do that, we have here the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles, this is kind of like a higher level of communication. Okay, this is like building the foundation, talking about the practical things. Okay, talking about the logistics, talking about things that are a little bit more grounded. Okay, so this is sort of having conversation with another person about things that are not just about ideas, but about practical things, like getting to know somebody in a practical way. Like, what was your family like? What were your relationships like with your siblings? You know, what was your relationship like? Like, why didn't that marriage work in the past? So like really getting to know another person, and, being interested to get to know that other person in a soulful, friendly way, so that you can assess, what kind of a person are they? What kind of a friend are they? What kind of a lover are they? Or have they been in the past? What kind of a sibling are they? Do they want children? Do they want to settle down in the country or the city? Working through the logistics and really getting to know another person, just so that you can gauge, are we actually compatible? Do we actually want the same things? And so a lot of the times I feel like, passion and lust and excitement, it takes over. But this is something that needs to be had. This is a conversation that is incredibly like people coming together, getting to know each other, learning how each other works, so that we can see if we're on the same page. Are we building towards something of, greater value together? Are we on the same page? Do we want the same things? And from there, that's when you can really assess, how the other person feels about you. And if you approach these topics and these conversations with this in mind, I feel like it's a lot more, it's a lot easier to get to know the other person, and it's a lot easier to get them to open up so that they don't feel afraid, because, it's not about feelings and emotion. This is about practical conversations. Okay. Another thing as well, if you want to, like, for example, you really like somebody and you're trying to take them out on a date. Okay. A date that involves doing something like hands-on would be really good. Okay, solving a puzzle together, like even playing board games, solving a puzzle. Like I'm seeing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there are those escape rooms where they have puzzles. And depending on, who runs it, it can be really, really good, or it can be really bad. But finding an escape room, finding like a puzzle, finding some type of a thing that you can work together at, it's very hands-on. Even like cooking together, preparing a meal together, or something like that. I feel like, it's going to allow you to see the other person, how they operate, how they think, how they function, and you're going to get to know each other in a very natural way. And so that will make them feel a lot more comfortable to be able to open up around with you. And then we also have the Chariot, and things are going to be moving really, really, really fast. And I feel like, your emotions are kind of like, it's like the tidal wave. It's sweeping you up. It's carrying you, for the ride. And I feel like many of you are very swept up in your emotions regarding this person. And I feel like you might see them as the one. You might see them as the person you want to really invest your time in, really go the whole 9 yards with, and really want to settle down with. And you're very much, you feel really strongly about this person. And so what I'm sensing is the other person, they want to know whether or not you can make the cut. They want to know whether or not you're going to be there for the long haul. And they want to know, they still want to get to know you. And I feel like the person you're dealing with, deep down, they are skeptical. They are aware that people hide their themselves well. People wear masks. And so they're trying to get to know you, and they're trying to make sure that, you're the right person. And so towards the end of the month, I do feel a coming together. Okay. This is the Chariot card, and it denotes two people working together at a common purpose, moving along in the same manner. Okay. So once again, the image of the two crane gliding and flying alongside each other in a very graceful way. I feel like you're going to reach that state of harmony between you and your person, where the two of you are sharing feelings, are working alongside with one another, have an opportunity to work together and to solve problems together, and to, feel certain that they are the right one for you. Okay. So I feel like it's going to take some time for you to get to this level, but time is really on your side. So let things unfold naturally. A lot of the times we push for a specific outcome, and we have to let nature take its course. Nature will kind of like iron out all the kinks for you. Okay. So I will leave it at that. Okay, Leos, I feel like this is going to be a really, really love-filled month for many of you. And I do sense that you're going to be quite happy by the end of the month.